Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. And if you're a new listener, you're very welcome. I hope you stay with us. I'm your host, Mike, and with me today we have Jenny and Neil, who basically signed up to this yesterday by not really listening to what I was saying and just both went, yeah. And here they are. We love hearing from you. Join the conversation, stay connected, share your thoughts on this episode and others. Let us know what you think. Give us all the little thumbs up and the shares and the retweets and all the other stuff that we love, because my ego could do with a boost, because I'm not egotistical at all enough. Anyway, I'm going to start with you, Jenny. How are you?
What, since last night? Or
Since yesterday, yes.
Yeah, it's very foggy here, but I hear it's very foggy everywhere, and it hadn't really lifted all day.
I
Been
don't know why I
foggy
tried to...
in South London?
No, it's been beautiful. Lovely
Oh.
sunny weather, honestly. I'm not
You're
just saying
joking.
that. No, I'm not just saying that.
Really?
It's been lovely.
Horrible. But then it's Swindon, so I don't mind. But yeah, foggy all day.
Yeah. Neil, yourself?
I've just been for a dog walk in the drizzly mizzle of Oxfordshire.
You should have come down here. It was lovely. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's really
Shut
nice. So let's club news. We've signed another defender, although there's some confusion because Milton Keynes have said midfielder has gone on loan, and we've said we've signed a central defender. He's playing at defence, but welcome Callum. I know obviously he played yesterday. To some people, they were asking lots of questions about, well, he was only signed on Friday and then put him straight into the team on Saturday. He wasn't. He was actually with the team the whole week. It was only announced on Friday because we didn't want Forest Green to know that we'd signed him. That's apparently the reasoning for the delay. And the ladies' match is finished, and it's 3-2. I will be getting some details, and I'm going to slot them back in here. So if I haven't slotted them back in, you'll know that I didn't get the details.
Was that 3-2 to us?
3-2 to us, yes. We won.
Right, yeah. Excellent.
We won 3-2.
Bargain.
Neil, what were your hopes, expectations ahead of the match? And did the lineup throw any confusion or surprises to you?
I was cautiously optimistic, so I was more upbeat than downbeat. I was a little bit surprised with the lineup to see that we had two goalkeepers on the subs bench, which I thought was an interesting tactic. And surprised to see Will Tizard on the bench. I expected him to play, so I thought we were lacking central midfielders. And the info that I'd had was that Callum Tripp was better in midfield than he was as a centre-back, though in fact MK Dons have used him when they have used him as a centre-back. So that was, but he wasn't really a centre-back because he was more playing the right of a back three, yet somehow managed to end up on the left of a back three. So it was, it was confusing. But apart from that, yes, the runners and riders, it was fairly obvious who was going to play. And I think Jaden Harris was probably taking the butt of it was probably you were the player that perhaps let yourself down last week, hence why he was put on the bench.
There it is. And Jenny, was there any surprises for you? Oh, sorry, hang on, Neil. You didn't tell me what you were expecting before the game.
Oh, I actually predicted us winning 2-1.
dodged that, didn't he?
Yeah.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Neil. No, Jenny. Christ, this is
No. Wow.
This is outrageous.
Keep drinking, isn't it?
It is only tea.
I knew about the new guy, and I'll be honest. I thought, will he go straight in? If I'd known he'd been with us a week, I probably would. But I am on that fan hub thing that you can predict the lineup, and I've been getting 9 out of 11 lately. So yesterday they didn't have his name, so I didn't put it, and I actually put Will Tizard in, and that was the only difference. So no, to be quite honest, although it didn't surprise me, it was about the right sort of lineup that I'd expected, to be quite honest. And I thought it was a good one. Jayden, I sort of agree with Neil a little bit. I think that Jayden sort of, they thought, well, let's start him on the bench, and who scored? But do you know what I mean? Which sometimes, like Aggie said, or was it him? Sometimes these things work. If they get a bit annoyed, and when they do come on, I've got something to show, and he certainly did. So bring it on. Yeah. My expectations, I have to say, I always hate to say we're going to lose on the prediction league, so I didn't. I put that we'd win 1-0, but in my heart of hearts, I wasn't expecting us to win. To be totally honest with you, I thought this would be the last game where we probably wouldn't win, before we start meeting, some. I know all teams are going to be difficult, but you know what I mean? York City, Southend, all those teams. And yesterday I'm like, okay, I don't think we'll win, and so I had, to be quite honest, to get 1-1. I was happy with that, because I kept going around saying Morrow 0, Agata 1, because August match, which I went to, when we were hammered basically 4-0, that was streets and so far different. And when you think it's only sort of 5 months, it was so different from August, where we really capitulated. I was hoping to think Robbie Savage might have said, well, that's quite a good team they've got there, that no, he didn't. But anyway, no, I wasn't expecting us to. I always wanted us. It would have been lovely, but a draw, take it all day long, really. Forest Green. Yep. They parked the bus second half after the sending off.
I mean, Neil, I have to say yours wasn't the only positive vibe. There was a lot of people saying, I think they're going to underestimate us because of the beating that Jenny referred to. And there was a few people going, do you know what? I think we can do something here. And I was like, this is very un-Sutton. Surely we should be more like, let's keep it under 7 and we'll be fine. But I mean, there's a few different bits to run around. I've not done this really in any order, so do forgive. But let's talk about Lewis Simper. He had a great shot, I think, in the first half that could have put us 1-0 up. He also hit the bar or crossbar, the corner. But I'm seeing people going, I think it was one of his quieter games for us. Jenny, what was your thoughts on Simps? Because someone has suggested that actually now we've got quite a few different people and options in midfield. Could he get the rest that he might need?
Yeah. I think we're all expecting him to score screamers, from sort of 30 yards, which is he is unlucky with, shot that hits the bar, and it is that luck or is that skill? I just think he's unlucky. But the goals he normally scores are spectacular, so he's due one. I think people look, if he doesn't score, then he's had a quiet game, but he does a lot of work within the match, a lot of work, and I think people forget, in a sense, he's not playing an out-and-out striker. When he it's like when we go for a throw-in and he picks the ball up, and I'm like, no, don't you throw it in, give it to someone else, because it's down outside where we were standing. So he picks it up, and I'm like, no, get in there. But I think it's more unlucky that, he's not a poacher because he'll score the spectacular. But when he's 30 yards out, I do often think, just give it a whack, have a go, try. But yeah, I wouldn't complain about him.
Yeah, Aggie said he assists the assist. He does that
Yeah,
more often,
yeah.
more often than people realise.
Yeah.
Also, Neil, Aggie mentioned in his the hospitality bit, he was doing his little chat, and he said it's a stat that I don't think many people realise because they look at Nadders and they judge him on his goals. But he said Simper has not scored or assisted in a match that Nadders isn't playing in. And he said that's because Nadders draws people away to give Simps the space to do these things. And it's like, no. And then the staff went off and had a little look and they went, oh my God, he's right. And it's like,
Get
sure
him
he was
back in
right.
then.
Not if he's injured,
Bring
not if he's
Nadders
hobbling
in.
around on one foot. You
I
can't.
don't care.
But Neil, what did you think? I mean, as I said, there was a couple comments saying, "Oh, we had quite a quiet game," but as I said, he had probably two of our best chances outside the goal.
As I said before we started recording, I watched the full match back. Forest Green had done their homework. He was doubled up. They were swarming around Simps, so he did not get the space, certainly in the middle of the park, that he would normally get. He found a little bit more later on when they were obviously a man down, but you were finding that Simps was actually a lot more out on the wing and all that. So he was having to go to try and find, and there were always two players around him. They were superb aggressively and without fouling, closing him down, so he was not able to do something. The ball, if he got it, he was having to get rid of it or passing back. So I think that was good homework. They realised that potentially he was ticking, and they did the same thing on Kai Jennings. So they realised that those were the two key people to keep quiet because they're our creative midfield too.
We're going to come to Callum debut.
Do we have to?
You can't sign a player called Tripp and not expect something to happen. I did say to him in the bar afterwards, "Oh, Callum, don't worry about giving away a penalty, mate." I said because my background's just fallen off. Don't worry about giving away the penalty because we've given away about 700 this season, so you're in good company. Firstly, Neil, you've watched it back. I've had some people say it looks like he got the ball, and it looks like it possibly shouldn't have been a penalty. Robbie Savage obviously said he should have been sent off, sent to the tower, and all sorts of other things
beheaded.
as well. But Neil, what did you think of it? First viewing, I thought it was a pen.
And on second, I've looked back 3 or 4 times. I think basically you're giving the referee a chance to give it. It was more clear cut than the couple that he gave against us at one of the two he gave against us at Walton. So he made it easy for the referee to give it. The guy had got him for pace.
Yeah.
So and you can't blame even if he got the ball, he was sort of behind. If you're behind the man, it's going to be a penalty more often than not. That's why Junior's one at the other end wasn't a penalty because Junior wasn't behind Junior. He was to the side of him. So therefore, there's that element more of doubt. If you get the ball, do you see what I mean? So it's where you are relative when the tackle's made, irrespective of where the ball goes. But it shouldn't have been a card, my understanding of the double jetty, because it wasn't a reckless or danger. It was a genuine attempt to get the ball. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it was a foul, but it wasn't a bad foul. So that's why I believe he didn't get a card. From my understanding, which could be wrong, but that's my.
Since you brought it up, I'll ask Jenny both questions as well. But since you brought it up, Junior's penalty, you've sort of given a reason why. Did you think it was a dive looking for the penalty? I did ask Junior if he wanted to go for swimming, and he shook his head and was like, "No, it was never a dive." But what do you think, Neil?
I think he sort of fell over. Actually, I don't think it was a it wasn't spectacular enough for a simulated thing. He just literally, it was the two of them
Collapsed.
clashed with the ball. I think the defender marginally got to the ball ahead of him, and Junior falls over. I don't think it was a dive. There wasn't a great appeal if you look from our players for a penalty. It was far more from the crowd.
Yeah, and not every challenge in the box has to result in a penalty or a yellow card.
It does if it's Sutton United.
But Jenny, give us your thoughts on the two penalty incidents. First of all, Callum.
Yeah, the penalty that Callum, sadly, with his name, gave away. I'll always think, no, it wasn't a penalty, but yeah, it did look a penalty. And for instance, if that was the other way round, if we hadn't got it, which we wouldn't anyway, but if we would have been furious. That's why I have to say with Juniors, it was the wrong end for me. Yeah. I saw him go down. It was obviously in the penalty box. I wasn't that close, and it wasn't on the highlights, so I was very bad. I didn't do my homework. I didn't watch the whole match back again.
Neither did I. But
so when he went down, I'm going to shout for a penalty, but because he went down. But you do. But no, it was. I have to say, every time opposition now either are in our box or they just outside the penalty, I'm like, don't foul, don't get near them, don't touch them, because especially in the penalty area, I don't know. I've got this theory, and I'm going to have to talk to Chris Agata about it. I really have got this theory that we've had so many penalties against us that each team, they obviously look at the team they're playing and they do their due diligence of looking. And I'm convinced now that somewhere along the talk for managers of our opposition teams, they say to them, look, they've conceded a lot of penalties, which is in here, right? Mm-hmm. When you're in the box, and if one of the Sutton defenders is near you, and go down, because they've conceded. And if I was a manager of Tamworth, right, next match, I'd be saying they'd be doing everything else, but I'd say to them, look, they've had so many penalties, and they're a bit naive. Be do an Eastman, be clever. If you're getting a bit of a tangle, go down. Ours often don't go down. Go down. Chances are 50-50, you might get a penalty. I'm convinced other managers would be saying that within their team talks. We've had so many. I would.
I think someone on the forum, I don't know who it was, sorry, has put that we've given it in the league, it's 11. And the next nearest is 2 teams. I think he said Brackley and Boston, and there were 7 each. So that's just to show.
We're either it's either an inexperienced defence who get the wrong side, or they, But even when Callum did, oh no, don't tackle them, because there's a chance there'd be a penalty, and it's Sutton United, so it'd be a penalty.
That said, the one that JT gave away a couple of weeks ago, when the photos came out, it's like that wasn't a penalty. I was clean on the ball. So some of them.
But you're wrong, Mike, because the way they've changed the rules, the tackle from behind, even if you get the ball, is potentially viewed as an aggressive, dangerous tackle. So that's why you're more likely to get them in the old days. So people are getting hung up, I think, on he got the ball.
Yeah.
You've got to get it quite a long way ahead of the person before it will count in your favour. Which is why I feel we should, somebody like David Ogbonna should run and get in the box a lot more than he does. Yeah. Because somebody's going to get him down, because he's very tricksy.
He's very quick as well.
Yeah. So that's what I. But I think I look at all of the penalties, obviously with amber-coloured spectacles, but I have to say, a lot of them, when I look back on them, you can see how it's easy for the ref to give them.
Yeah, giving them a decision to make.
Yeah.
So don't make it easy for the refs, because the refs are, they're human.
Yeah. But if Callum hadn't tackled the guy, he'd have scored. So anyway, it wouldn't have made any difference,
Exactly. Right, we will talk about some of the other decisions. So we were down to we were not down to, we were up against 10. I have to say, I was talking to a couple of people just shortly before that sending off, and I thought some of our players were getting quite antsy with the referee, and we're going to get someone sent off. And I think I said that in like the 35th, 36 minutes, and I would be really surprised if we finish this half with 11 men. And then very shortly after, there was the scuffle, and their guy went. So Neil, on that whole couple of minutes, what was your view on the sort of the two challenges in the scuffle, and then the handball / dissent that we were all wondering why he got the second yellow?
Right. So going back, so the original thing was a tackle from Bez on the left wing, which, to be honest, was a high dangerous tackle, and Bez should have been sent off.
Mm-hmm.
Having looked back at it, it was very high. It got him on the top of the thigh. So it was late, it was high, it was reckless. That should have been a straight res. So therefore, the guy was justified in feeling that he was hard done by. Eventually, Bez got booked. We thought originally at the time it was for dissent in the scuffle, but it wasn't. You can see the referee pointing to the sideline, to
where the challenge was
for the tackle.
Yeah.
So the ref, in effect, lets play on.
Mm-hmm.
We get the ball back. Obviously, it breaks down, and Callum Reese goes deliberately for the nearest player he can get, and it happens to be Kai Jennings. That was reckless. It was dangerous. It was a deliberate. So he should have been. It should have been a straight red.
Yeah, it was retaliation as well.
It was retaliation. So so the ref basically bottled both of those. I think he thought or realised, I should have given a red there. I can't really give a red here. I'm going to have to make this 2 yellows.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Savage's point of view is it wasn't a red because there should have been a red for us beforehand. So therefore, the next bit of play wouldn't have happened.
Well, yeah, you can argue that, but he then also said in the same interview, "Oh yeah, I mean, you're right to go and have a pop back." No, you're not. That's
how he played, though.
Yeah. No, he was normally. He didn't have a pop back. He was normally rolling, crying about the challenge.
No, I remember him playing. He did used to, especially for Leicester.
Yeah, but that wasn't against players.
You're too young, Mike. You're too young.
No. That wasn't players who would have a pop back. That was players who wouldn't have a pop back.
Right. Okay.
Neil, sorry, I just know you took a mouthful of drink there, but what was your view on then the second yellow for Reese something or whatever his name was? Where he went through again. Mr. Savage is saying the ball hit his chest and then his arm. Didn't look like that to my view, but you've watched it back. The whistle went, he kicked the ball into the net, and then he went off and had a go at the linesman. So at the time there was a bit of question about what the yellow was for, the second yellow. I believe you had some expert.
So I thought it was, Jenny and I were standing next to it. We thought it was for dissent because he, went and had a pop at the linesman and all that sort of situation, claiming, I never handled it, blah, blah, blah. When I then had a little bit of interaction with Mr. Savage on the side of the pitch behind the dugout, he said that the fourth official had clarified it was for deliberate handball, which was it. And then he gave me a very graphic description of, and then showed demonstration and all that sort of thing. So he spent the next minute or so with his back to the game, having an interaction with me, which Jenny has captured on film.
Yes.
And he wasn't watching the game at all at that stage. But,
no, he wasn't.
But so he was very passionate about the fact that he felt that the referee there had made a series of mistakes and it was all terribly unfair.
I mean, watching him every now and then, he was a pantomime. Where he says crowds have a go at him and all that, it's like, well, you do it deliberately. I mean, he was nice saying about our fans as well, but it was a case of, you are kind of doing this deliberately. You're dancing up and down. You're engaging with them. You're talking to them. You're waving to them up in the stand. So, but Jenny, what was your thoughts on? I know you were standing next to Neil, so you had almost the same view. But on the handbags dust up, what led to that dust up, and then the yellow, red.
Well, in all honesty, to be fair, sadly, the very first one that we, our tackle that was dangerous, all of that was because the referee couldn't control the game. If he had sent Bez off, the rest I suspect wouldn't have happened because, Kai, wow, the guy who tackled it, he wanted some justice, as it were, and it wasn't even Kai's fault, it wasn't even him that done it. But the referee, he'd players know that they, they've been playing a long time, these people. What I'm saying, a long time, but they know the system, and if they feel aggrieved that one of their players, hasn't had the justice that should have, i.e. that the player that had done the tackle wasn't sent off, then they're going to be gunning for it. It doesn't matter whether it's non-league or professional in the Premiership. That's what happens. You can see it. And the referee didn't handle it. He didn't know what to do. Or he bottled it, didn't he? To be fair, he bottled it. It's really weird because sometimes that happens. I can't remember the match. Was it Southend where, the crowd, because it was at Southend, the decisions seem to always go Southend's way. Now, I'm sure he wasn't biased towards us, but was that because he was at Sutton and it was a Sutton player? I don't think so, but they're human. It's in there in not sure. I don't know.
I don't think so. When you've got both managers complaining about the referee quite blatantly. I never complain about referees, said Robbie Savage, and then his 10-minute interview was 8 minutes complaining about the referee. It's like, you're very good at it for someone who doesn't do it very often.
But it is very, can I just say, it's very noticeable. Robbie Savage also said in his interview, he said, I got booked. One of my staff got sent off. He said the opposition, he was meaning Chris Agata and our bench, he said, they were just as bad. They were getting nothing. But, and I think I said this to Neil, that if you watch Robbie Savage, he was forever in the fourth official's ear. Yep. Forever. Chris Agata was in the, in his, but he was looking, he was watching the match, he was doing, yes, at some decisions he might, but it wasn't even, the match was going on and there was Savage in his ear. And I'm like, come on, Robbie. It's rubbish.
If that was me, I'd be just looking at the fourth every now and then and just kind of cutting my eyes and rolling my eyes as if to go, oh, blimey, he don't stop, does he?
He was forever in the bloke's ear. Because I think I said to Neil, is that one of their staff? Because you couldn't really tell on the TARDIS. They were all in black, like tracksuits. And I'm like, is that one of Forest Green's staff? And he went, no, it's the fourth official. Oh, Robbie, so every now we're always going, Chris wasn't doing that. Yes, he would do that occasionally, but he wasn't like Robbie. Good look, he's part of the show, isn't he? Really?
Maybe that's what teams need to do. They need to hire someone just to stand there and take abuse that should be directed at the fourth. But the manager can go, I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to my bloke, and just
that's true. But no, I
just do it loudly.
When Robbie said about us, and I thought, no, you're wrong there. Come on,
But he was very pleased that most of the people around at the time did agree that the card might have been a bit harsh. But hey, I don't care. But we had 50 minutes against 10 men. We couldn't break them down, really. We had chances. Chris said he felt that we had chances at 11v11, so it wasn't too much of a difference. He did make a lot of attacking substitutions, Jenny. At one point, of the defenders that started, we had Bez at the back and everyone else going forward, going, what am I supposed to do here? But again, people have been commenting on David, wondering what Chris has seen in him. But what I think people don't realise, because I spoke to him very briefly afterwards, and he said just people don't understand the difference between training part-time and training full-time and the intensity and everything. It's just so much. I'm trying to catch up. And he goes, I will, and I'll start scoring. But he goes, it's just really difficult. What did you think of the subs, the attacking intent, and of David as a signing so far?
Right. I mean, in regard to, I turned around, I said to Neil as soon as it was down to 10 men, I went, we've never always done very well against 10 men. You know, that was my first thing.
That's all you ever remember, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we should. But I have to say, on Forest Green's side, I mean, we were like a battering ram, and I can see why Chris put let's put them all on, all the forward, everyone, even Sims, get up there and that, which he nearly did and nearly got caught out, but no. But they were really well organised at the back. Although it was like one of these, this battering ram, and they just stood firm. They were all in their positions. They and when they had some breakaways, which were a little bit disconcerting because we were all up there trying to batter them down. They were fast, they ran through. But as soon as we got the ball back, they were back. They were back in their positions. And I'll be honest, it was I thought, I can't see where a goal's coming from, because they were well organised and our goal, fantastic. But it was a bit pinball. It started to be some pinball. Just keep putting the ball in. I can understand him doing that. But yeah, the substitutions. Are you talking, David? Are you talking about Eze? Which
no,
Rodari.
Oh, right.
The
Yeah.
striker.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's all right. It all became a blur in the end. He was bringing so many on. I'm like, who's what? Yeah, I mean, from part-time to full-time must be, it's like I could go out for a walk a couple of times a week to then if you went out every day and you multiplied the mileage, yeah, it's going to take its toll on you. And I think we're very easy to, there is a big jump. We're used to, as a club, being full-time, and the players, most of the players who are coming from the higher leagues or national league level would be used to that. But those that are coming from maybe 2 steps down on that, yeah, then it's difficult. Look at our academy guys, Charlie Well, they would train with the first team squad for weeks before they ever got their debut. And I'm sure that was part of it, apart from learning our systems, etc. I have trust in Chris and the backroom lot that I'm not expecting people to come in within even a couple of games and be on it. They obviously see something, or they've worked with the players before, which a lot of them said they have. He knew them from Worthing or wherever he's been. He knows them. I really do trust the integrity of the guy. He might get some wrong, but I really trust him that once they start firing, we just need to hope that they start firing soon, but before the end of the season. Let's just move up a little bit because,
And Neil, what was your thoughts on we didn't take too much of a advantage with the extra man, the very attacking, intense substitutions. I was surprised he didn't chuck on David Azaya to go up front and get some height in there. And then David, where some people have been starting to be a bit critical.
Yeah, well, when he actually came on, David, he didn't actually get much of the ball, but he was involved. I can't remember whether it was involved in when we actually scored the goal or where just before when Simps hit the bar, but he was quite athletic and managed to keep a ball in that looked as it was going to go about, and he managed to hook it back over his head. He barely got a touch when he came on. The player who obviously had the most impact when he came on was Eze. So he really did. Yeah. He was running all over the place. So he looked really good. I was alarmed when we took Hayden off, and then we ended up virtually with Jack Taylor in effect playing at centre half with
Jake.
Yeah, Jake. Sorry, with Jake playing doing a Jack impersonation, but at half the height. But I thought that was incredibly brave. Took about throwing everything but the kitchen.
He did though.
Yeah. And in the end, it paid off.
Absolutely. I mean, one couple of quick points on David is he scored something like 43 goals in 86 games for Chris at Hastings. I know it's a couple levels below. But that just shows he knows how to score goals. And I think Chris did say he's not going to be the kind of player that runs up and down. He's just literally going to be in the box, sticking his big toe out and getting it in the goal. But as Neil said, he needs the ball to be able to do that. He needs a bit of service. So I think we're not quite there yet to make the most out of him, but I think we will be. And definitely over the summer, we will be. You both hinted, we'll start with you, Neil. I said really confidently, I kept telling everyone, don't worry. I think we're on 85 minutes. Don't worry, we're going to win this 2-1. Don't worry, we're going to win this 2-1. And then 89 minutes, Mr. Jaden Harris. Neil, what was your thoughts on the equaliser?
I wasn't quite sure how the ball went in the back of the net. Actually, he was a real poacher's finish because he was actually lying on the ground with his wrong foot. So actually, it was a striker's. It was a goal sniffers Gary Lineker special in terms of it was less, it was 6 yards out and opportunistic. So he was the right player in the right place. Sadly, just before that, because Brandon, or was it just after, Brandon missed an absolute sitter when literally he could have, when he was virtually on the line and managed to miss it. So,
So, yeah, we could have, I would have screamed, but we could have won it 2-1 because we had so many chances in that last sort of 8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Jenny, what were your thoughts on the equaliser and
well, I actually thought
that close.
Hurrah that we've actually done that for ourselves. It's usually the opposition that's scoring the 89th or the 90th minute, and it was just nice to, as I said, hand on heart, I always think, we'll win, but I actually was a bit dreading, Forest Green, that they'll win this. So I was actually thrilled just to get the goal, but I didn't, we were just bombarding in the last sort of 10 minutes, especially when we'd hit the crossbar, I'm like, it's not going to go in, it's not going to happen. And so we deserved that. We really deserved that. And if, Robbie Savage or, they should, we deserve 3 points. No, we deserved that. And we could have won it. We could have nicked it, but I'll take the 1-1 on that. Definitely. And because I'll be honest, it was only in the highlights that I realised he was on the floor. There were so many players around there. I actually didn't know he scored.
Exactly.
I'm like,
I was like,
who was that? And because he was on the floor, did he score? It was then. When I've looked it back, I thought, right, yeah, I can see how that worked. But there was two or three, wasn't there, around? I didn't know it come off. But we deserved that. Definitely.
Yeah, they once asked me if I ever fancied doing the PA. I was like, you're having a laugh. I can't even see the pitch when I'm standing next to it. How am I supposed to see the PA? Somebody scored.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a substitution. I don't know. One of their players is coming on for another one. I don't know. Yeah. But
them, yeah.
We have now 20 games to go. So we are on the tick down for the rest of the season. We're back in the bottom four. But we do have games in hand. Obviously, you need to do something with those games in hand. But Jenny, what do you think? I mean, Chris has said we need 8 wins.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
He said 8 wins. That'd get us to the 50 points. Someone has pointed out if we only got a point a game, which is slightly higher than we've had so far this season, we're only going to end up on 44 points and likely relegated. What do you think we need, and what do you think will happen?
Funnily enough, because like I said, Forest Green, York, it was, to me, if we got anything out of them, to me they were dead rubbers. In a sense, if we got something, I'd be over the moon. We did. We got a point. That's fine. And I was, checking Tamworth. I didn't realise what they'd done. But I mean, they couldn't even score against Truro. I mean, come on.
Stop. They'll probably get 6 against us.
Blame me. No, but okay. But I looked at theirs, and sadly, it was a Truro player got sent off, not one of theirs. But no, looking at that now, I go into that match. Now I know they're 3G. got nothing against 3G except Walton's 3G because they should have watered that pitch. But they set it up for their own players,
Exactly.
which we did fine. But I've got more confidence going that we'll get something out of Tamworth. I really have, and the next matches, I really do. There's no way we're going to draw the rest of our match. No way. We're gonna get some wins. I don't know if we'll get 8. Hopefully, if we go on a run. I really think I just saw, because I bought my Hartlepool I just saw Hartlepool have got a new owner now, and I'm like, oh, you're joking. You know, they all, whenever there's trouble, look, Morecambe, whenever there's trouble in a club and we're about to play them, they always get onto that. Yeah, we've just got a new manager. We just got to, and then we go and play them, and where they were useless and rubbish before, we get that first match where we play them. So, but no, I'm confident now for the rest. Our history was we always used to play better and well against the good sides and the top sides. I'm not saying we still do, but we're not getting the rub of the green. We're not getting the rub of the green, but we'll be all right.
Neil, what's your thoughts? Last 20 games. I mean, I did have a look at the table, and I'm surprised that we're still only 18 points off the playoffs, because I was like, well, early mid-December, I was like, oh, they're gone. That's it. And it was like, we're 18 points behind now. And it's like, hang on, we've not done brilliant in December. We're still only 18 points behind. So, but what do you think of the next 20 games? 60 points available.
Yeah, well, we'd be in the playoffs, wouldn't we, if we won?
Yeah.
So essentially, in terms of to avoid relegation, that's roughly a win, a draw, and a loss in each batch of 3 games, give or take a bit.
So that's 1.3.
Yeah, so that's what we've got to get. We probably need 54 points if past seasons have been anything but to be safe. So we probably need slightly more than a win, draw, and a loss. You have to take what Robbie Savage says about us in his post-match, who's saying Sutton are in a forced position in the table. Yeah. So I think he recognises, and actually when we looked there was good intricate passing. It's essentially that was a very good performance. That performance against a lot of teams would result in a win, as we saw in November. Yeah. So we are not far off. We are able to compete on equal terms with the best teams, and we played York and Forest Green, Southend in the last 3 games. Those are potentially the best 3 teams in the league. Southend were unlucky not to win at York yesterday. York equalised in the 86th minute, something like that. So that was that
I only have one worry. Can I just say one worry?
Lucky you.
Is that same team play brilliantly, then they don't turn up on one of the Walton. I mean, I can't tell you how badly we played. And what I'm saying is, it was really this. We have a tendency, occasionally, we don't turn up. Like Spennymoor last season, and I know it's a different team, really, but like Walton, and it's like, and even I wasn't there. People said Aldershot was actually. I wasn't at that match, so I don't know. But
if we went 3 games winning, and in 1 game awful.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
That'll be 9 from 4. So.
But we sort of, I don't know if it's getting a rut, and even Aggie doesn't know what, it's like and I, it's happened a couple of times, because after Shrewsbury, I thought, whoa, yeah, we're flying, and it fizzled.
I think there's more than meets the eye after the Walton match, because it was the week after the Shrewsbury game, wasn't it?
Yeah. That
took an awful lot out of the players, and I think that is the beginning of the fact that half of the team were being
that's true
with
suspension,
sellotape, and analgesia and things like that. And I think then went into the next match. That's where the injury rot set in, and we're only just coming out. We're only just coming out of that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm very conscious of, Neil, is that we're dismissing a lot of what Robbie Savage said, but then saying, but the bit he said about us being in a full position, we'll agree with that. We don't mind that.
No, I
Or
think
I'm dismissing.
balance.
You've agreed with a few of his things, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, actually,
Um,
I agree. I think, and he was very complimentary about the welcome that the club gave, and the interaction with the fans, the respect that the club had given him and his team and Chris. He said that doesn't really happen, or doesn't happen very often. So I think he said more, positive things to give him credit for than bollocks.
I don't think he'd ever. I think this was his first time he'd ever been at Sutton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
wanted to.
so. And yeah, and I mean, what I'm saying before the match, I'll give him his due. A lot of people, he's like Marmite, supposedly. People either hate him or they. But he stopped everyone that wanted his autograph, and he was this side. He was grandstand side, so he wasn't with the supporters. He stopped. He signed autographs. He took pictures. And like just before half time, Neil, he'll interact. I can understand him interacting with his own fans, but he interacted with us. There are managers, I would imagine, I can think of some, but I'm not going to name them, who would have given our fans abuse if we tried to interact with them, that wasn't this, that, and the other. Right? He didn't.
Leslie.
and
Leslie.
and I, to be quite honest, I think he's a great. He's a good lad, right? He's very charismatic. He is a pantomime, but I wouldn't get annoyed with him, upset with him, because he'd be welcome there any time. And as he said, yes, I know I'm at the real Sutton, but Chris Sutton, I don't think it'd be on 606 with him if he's on tonight anyway, because he was doing this Villa Everton on Sky,
Right,
so he was
fair
one of the pundits. So I'm like, because else we
As a
should have
shame.
bloody so sick.
Yeah.
But no, I like.
Yeah,
the-
I did
he's
want to
alright.
actually thank him because not a lot of people remember, but he was the one who drew out Arsenal all those years ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I didn't
so
realise that. Oh,
Sutton was
right.
drawn as the home team, and then he drew out the Arsenal, and he was
Hey,
like,
can I
"Ooh."
just say though, I was amazed how many away support came. They filled the
Yeah.
curver,
Yeah.
and not being funny, that's their home support. No, I was amazed because I know the train system would have been very poor, so they either came by car. But I said to Neil, "Wow, I mean, there's been teams that, and it's quite a way away, for a couple of hours." There was a lot of them. I was surprised. I was really I reckon that's the Robbie Savage effect. Anyway,
It must be, yeah. But what we're going to do is we're going to start bringing this to a close. But Google has said against Tamworth is going to be 2-1, and Jaden will score. I'm more convinced than ever that it just sees who scored our last goal and says they're going to score the next one. I'm going to go with 2-1, and I'm going to go with an angry Simps, like levering it in from our goal line or something. But yeah, 2-1 as well. Both of you are in the prediction league, so both of you can change this. You're not tied to this as long as it's in before 3:00 next Saturday. But
if
Jenny,
I get an email,
well, that's your email, not mine.
I know we'll sort that later.
But Jenny, what's your prediction? Early prediction?
Well, right, we're going to win, but for some reason we always let in a goal, so Tamworth will score. But I'm going to go. It's going to start happening for us. 3-1 to us.
3-1, perfect. Neil?
Yeah.
I think it might even be just sort of a close. Could even be a 1-0.
A 1-0.
I don't think Nadders. I think Nadders is close to coming back, but I don't think he'll come back on the 3G.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
and I go for Kai. Kai to
You're going to go for Kai to score.
Well, I went for Kai today because I thought, Jaden is normally my first choice when he hasn't scored. So I took him off when I saw the teams, put Kai down, and then Jaden goes and scores.
That doesn't count. You're not going to get that. It's a nice try, but you're not going to get it.
So he's let me down. So potentially, I think I might go for Jaden as well.
That's like me telling his mum that he nearly ran over my daughter when Rosie had wandered out. Rosie had wandered out into the driveway as he was coming out, like less than 5 miles an hour. And Rosie was technically in front of his car, but I was like, he nearly ran my daughter over, and he's like, no, I didn't. But anyway, we're going to wrap up this episode. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback, and get involved. Let us know what you liked, didn't like. Give us a thumbs up. Give us your feedback. Share, like, subscribe. as always, big thank you to Lucky Star Gin for sponsoring. Big thank you to Jenny and Neil for stepping in. And thanks to everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Something Podcast. Take care and we'll catch up soon. Bye-bye.
United! 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 United!